Good morning, children. Now, today we will learn division of fraction. We will first learn how to divide a fraction by a whole number. Division of a fraction by a whole number. Let me take a sum from the book, children. Let me take an example from the book. You can open your book at page number 69. Page number 69. Let me take an example. 5 over, we have to divide 5 over 7 by 9. We have to divide 5 over 7 by 4. Sorry, 4, not 9. So what will we do, children, whenever we have to divide a fraction by a whole number? What do we do? In the first step, we will change this whole number into fraction. Let us do. Now, 5 over 7, we have to divide. So, we will put division sign and write this in fractional form. Whole number 4 can be written as 4 over 1. So, we have changed this whole number into fraction. Now, this was our first step. Now, in the second step, children, we will change this division sign into multiplication sign. What will we do? We will multiply our first fraction with the reciprocal of the second fraction that we have here now. Now you know what is reciprocal. Reciprocal is also known as multiplicative inverse. Now what happens when we have to write the reciprocal of any fraction? Numerator and denominator, they switch their place. Numerator becomes the denominator and denominator becomes the numerator. So let us multiply the first fraction. We will multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. Now what is the reciprocal, children? See, reciprocal of, children, 4 over 1. Reciprocal of 4 over 1. What is the reciprocal of 4 over 1? Reciprocal of 4 over 1 is 1 over 4. Remember this. We write the reciprocal of the second fraction that we have. We multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So we wrote our first fraction and then we multiply it by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So reciprocal of 4 over 1 is 1 over 4. So we multiply 15 over 7 by 1 over 4. Now you have learned how to multiply fractions. Now you know whenever we multiply fractions, we do not take out denominator. We do not take out LCM. Instead of taking out LCM, what do? We reduce the numerator and denominator. Now let us see, in both these fractions, let us take the numerator and denominator of the first fraction. Now do they have any common factor? 15 and 7. Do they have any common factor? Is there any number which will divide 15 also and 7 also? No, children. 7 is a prime number, if you remember, and 7 is divisible only by 7 and 1. So 15 is not divisible by 7. So 15 and 7 do not have any common factor. Now let us check the numerator of the first fraction and the denominator of the second fraction. 15 and 4. Now 15 and 4, do they have any common factor? Is there any number which will divide 4 also and 15 also? Now you see 4 is divisible by 2, 4 and 1. And 15 is divisible by 3, 5, 15. So they have no common factor. So in such case, when numerator and denominators cannot be reduced, what do? We multiply the numerators. 15 times 1 is 50. 7 times 4 is 28. Now 15 over 28, the numerator is smaller than the denominator. That means it is a proper fraction. And a proper fraction, whenever we have answer in proper fraction, that's our answer. So when we divide 5 over 7 by 4, what do we get? 15 over 28. So I hope you understood how do we divide a fraction by a whole number. Now children, let me take a mixed fraction now. Let me take another example where I will take a mixed fraction and I will divide it by a whole number. I will take another example from the same page. It is 3 whole 4 over 5. We have to divide it by how much? By 19. Now see, we have two numbers here. The first is a mixed fraction and the second is a whole number. So in step 1, what will we do? We will change this mixed fraction into improper fraction and change this whole number into fractional form. Come on, let's do. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus 4, 19. 19 over 5. We have to divide. So now we will put division sign here. We have to divide this by 19. 19 is a whole number. How can 19 be written in fraction form? 19 means 19 over 1. So let's write 19 over 1. Now, what do? We have to divide 19 over 5 by 19 over 1. So what will we do? We will find the reciprocal of second fraction. What is the second fraction? 19 over 1. So we'll find the reciprocal of second fraction, 19 over 1. What is the reciprocal of 19 over 1? Reciprocal of 19 over 1 is 1 over 19. Okay? Now, we'll multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. Okay? So now, 19 over 5, first fraction we will write as it is. And then we will multiply it by the reciprocal of the second fraction. What is the reciprocal of the second fraction? 1 over 19. Now children, now we will see whether the numerator and denominator can be reduced or not. Now see, 19 and 19. The numerator of the first fraction is 19 and denominator of the second fraction is 19. So we can reduce both these numbers by 19. Let us divide 19 by 19. 19 divided by 19 gives us 1. Let us divide this 19 also by 19. 19 divided by 9 gives us 1. Now, we will multiply the two numerators. See, 1 instead of 19 we have 1. So, 1 times 1 is 1. Now, 5 times 1. We will multiply the denominators 5 and 1. 5 times 1 is 5. So what is our answer? 1 over 5. Numerator is smaller than the denominator. So it is a proper fraction. Whenever we get answer in proper fraction, that is our answer. 1 over 5 means 1 over 5 only. Okay? Now, so we learned how to divide a fraction by a whole number. Now we will learn how to divide a fraction by a fraction. Okay. How to divide a fraction by a fraction. Let's see. Now, I will take an example from the book. Divide. Page number is page number 70. Page number 70. Or you can all open your book at page 70. 5 over 8 by 2 over 7. We have to divide the first fraction by the second fraction. Now children, see. What will we do? We'll find the reciprocal of the second fraction and multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. But in step 1 first, we have to write both the fractions with division sign in between. So we'll write 5 over 8, we have to divide it by 2 over 7. Now what is the second fraction? The second fraction is 2 over 7. So we'll find the reciprocal of the second fraction first. Now come on. Reciprocal of 2 over 7 is, what is the reciprocal of 2 over 7? 7 over 2. Isn't it, children? Numerator becomes the denominator and denominator becomes the numerator. Numerator and denominator, they switch their place. Now we will multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. Let's write the first fraction. The first fraction is 5 over 8. Let us multiply it now by reciprocal of the second fraction. Reciprocal of the second fraction is 7 over 2. Now children, is there any numerator and denominator which can be reduced? Now let's check the numerator and denominator of the first fraction. 5 and 8. Do these numbers have any common factor? Is there any number which will divide 5 also and 8 also? No children. 5 is a prime number, it is divisible by 5 only, and 8 is not divisible by 5. Now let us check the numerator and denominator of the second fraction. 7 and 2, do they have any common factor? 7 is divisible by 7 only, 2 is divisible by 2 only. So again, this numerator and denominator of the second fraction do not have any common factor. Now let's check the numerator of the first fraction and denominator of the second fraction. 5 and 2. Do they have any common factor? No, they do not have any common factor. There is no number which will divide 5 and 2. Now let's check the numerator of the second fraction and numerator of the second fraction and denominator of the first fraction. 7 and 8. Do they have any common factor? No children. So now when nothing can be reduced, then what do? We multiply the numerators to get the numerator and we multiply the denominators to get the denominator. Come on, now let's multiply the numerators. 5 times 7 is 35. 8 times 2 is 16. Now 35 over 16, it is an improper fraction. Numerator is more than the denominator. So what will we do? We will divide the numerator by the denominator. Come on. Let's multiply here 35 by 16 to get a mixed fraction. 16 times 2 is 32. So quotient becomes the whole number, remainder becomes the numerator, and divisor becomes the denominator. So what will be our answer? 2 whole 3 over 16. 2 whole 3 over 16. This is our answer that we get when we divide a fraction by a fraction. Now let us take a mixed fraction and a fraction. Now come on. Let us take another example. Let me take examples only. Let us divide 3 whole 5 over 7. Let us divide this by, let us divide 3 whole 5 over 7 by 13 over 14. Okay, now see, we have to divide a mixed fraction by a fraction. So in step 1, what will we do? We will change this mixed fraction into improper fraction. Now 7 times 3 is 21. 21 plus 5, 26. 26 over 7. We have to divide by 13 over 14. So let us put division sign and write the second fraction. Okay, now we'll find the reciprocal of the second fraction. What is the reciprocal? Reciprocal of second fraction, which is 13 over 14. What is the reciprocal of 13 over 14? Reciprocal is 14 over 13. Now children, let us write the first fraction. Now what will we do? We'll multiply our first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So let us multiply our first fraction, which is 26 over 7, by the reciprocal of second fraction, which is 14 over 13. Now children, see, if you look carefully, you will see that 7 and 14, they have a common factor. Both of them are divisible by 7. So let us reduce 7 and 14. 7 when you divide by 7, what do you get? 1. And 14 when you divide by 7, what do you get? 2. Okay? Now see. Never reduce the numerators, 2 numerators, and never reduce the 2 denominators. Only numerator and denominator can be reduced. Okay? Now see. 26, which is the numerator of the first fraction, and 13, which is the denominator of the second fraction. They also have a common factor. Both of them can be reduced by 13. 26 is divisible by 13 and 13 is divisible by 13. 26 when you divide by 13, how much do you get? 13 times 2 is 26. So 26 when you divide by 13, you get 2. 13, let us divide by 13. 13 times 1 is 13. So we get 1. Okay, now you will see 2 here and 2 here. And you would like to reduce them. But see, both of them are numerators. 2 numerators cannot be reduced. Okay, numerators cannot be reduced, and if we have denominators which can be reduced, we will not reduce them. Only numerator and denominators can be reduced. Keep this in your mind. Now, we will multiply the numerators. 2 times 2 is 4. Now, we will multiply the denominators. 1 times 1 is 1. Now, what do we have? 4 over 1. 4 over 1 means what? 4 over 1 means 4. 4 is a whole number. We saw in the previous sum that whole number, when we have to write in fraction form, what do we write? We just write 1 in denominator's place. So 4 over 1 means 4. Okay children, so now you know how to reduce a mixed fraction, how to divide a mixed fraction by a fraction. Now there is one thing which I want to make here children. There are sometimes I have seen children making this mistake. It is a very common mistake, like 5. 5 means 5 over 1. Okay, but 1 over 5, it does not mean 5. What is the difference between 1 over 5 and 5 children? 5 is a whole number, that means 5 things. And 1 over 5 means one thing is divided into 5 equal parts. 1 over 5 means we are talking about one part out of the 5 parts of a thing. So 1 over 5 does not mean 5. 5 means 5 over 1. Okay children? Now, let us see how to divide a mixed fraction by a mixed fraction. Again, I am taking an example from page number 70 only. We will divide 2 whole 1 over 7 by 1 whole 3 over 4. Now see, both of them are mixed fractions. So what will we do? We will change them into improper fractions in the first step. Now 7 times 2 is 14. 14 plus 1, 15 over 7. We have to divide, so we'll put divide sign. And let's change the second mixed fraction into improper fraction. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 plus 3, 7. 7 over 4. Okay, now the reciprocal of the second fraction. Reciprocal of 7 over 4. We find the reciprocal of the second fraction. Reciprocal of 7 over 4 is what? 4 over 7. So what will we do? We will multiply our first fraction. We will multiply our first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. Okay, now children, see, you will see 7 and 7 in denominator place and you would like to reduce. But see, since both of them are denominators, they cannot be reduced. They cannot be reduced. Now see, 15 and 7, do they have any common factor? Is there any number which will divide 15 also and 7 also? No children. Now see, 4 and 7, can they be reduced? Is there any number which will reduce this and this? Which will divide this and this? No, they do not have any common factor. Now let's cross check. Numerator of the first fraction and denominator of the second fraction. 15 and 7. Do they have any common factor? Any number which will divide 15 and 7? No. Now let us check the numerator of the second fraction and denominator of the first fraction. 4 and 7. Do they have any common factor? No. So now nothing can be reduced. So what will we do in this case? We will multiply the numerators. We will multiply the numerators. 15 times 4 is 60. And 7 times 7 is 49. Now it is an improper fraction. So we will change it into mixed fraction. How do? We will divide 60 by 49. Let us divide 60 by 49 in the rough. Now 49 times 1 is 49. 49 when we subtract from 60 we get 11. So what is our answer? 1 whole 11 over 49. This is our answer. So today we learn, children, how to divide a fraction by a whole number and how to divide a fraction by a fraction. Now tomorrow we will learn to divide a whole number by a fraction and we will do the word problems also. So what will you do, children? You can page number 71, exercise 4n. You can practice these sums. See, question number 1 to 10. You have to divide fractions by whole number. So you can practice question 1 to 10. And then from question 11 to question number 22. All sums are there where you have to divide a fraction by fraction. So what will be your homework from question 1 to 22 of exercise 4n? Let me write down the homework, children. These sums you can practice in your rough notebook. See, exercise 4n, which is on page number 71. Question 1 to 22. You can practice in your practice notebook. Then tomorrow when we will learn how to divide a whole number by a fraction, you can practice rest of the sums of this exercise from question 23 to 32. Do the PDF work in your mathematics notebook and 1 to 22 practice in your practice notebook. Now we will meet tomorrow.